Hey everybody. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm gonna be kind of just talking about things, and playing Minecraft or other video games. Honestly, I don't know. Uh, it's just something that I know things about. I like Minecraft, so I figured this would be a good thing to start the start the series off of. I know it's a little bit different than the other things I do. Actually, a lot of it different. There's definitely a different energy here. But whatever. And if this is the first video you're seeing on my channel, hi, my name is Ash. Um, I run the Volcanic Ash YouTube channel. That's me. Um, um, I'm 16. In my senior year of a high school, and I don't really have a whole lot of other stuff to do other than this. I'm kidding. Obviously I have a lot of stuff to do, but this is just something that I'm kind of passionate about, and I figured, why not? Why not? This is kind of inspired by uh, the stuff like the weekly slap, um, uh, you know, just kind of being real. Um, and that's what I intend to do. I intend to be real. um, all right. So obviously, being my age, there's a certain level of like importance that things have over other things, obviously. Um, which goes for anyone, but majority of my problems deal with like high school stuff, um, and like you know, just just how that works, and that environment, and it's very different from um, anything in real life, really, especially for me, because I don't know, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. I have a distinct fear of like growing old, and um, a lot of things like that, and I I just don't I just don't mess with high school. I don't know. I know that's probably the craziest take of all time, but um that just doesn't really mesh with me too well. That's just because of the type of person I am and whatever. But my high school experience is a lot more unique than a lot of other people's. Um, Mainly just because it's like it's it's very, I don't know, it's out of there. I went to public high school for my first year, freshman year. It was right after COVID. COVID had just ended. Well, quote unquote ended. We still had to wear masks and stuff. It was like 2021, or not 2021, but 2022. Um, I don't know. I guess it would have been the year of the ending of 2021, beginning of 2022, and I was thrown directly into freshman year. I had never like even begun to like understand anything that was going on there. So the entirety of freshman year high school was something that I straight up don't even remember it. That's how non-eventful it was. I wasn't doing too great because for the entirety of quarantine I had basically done nothing, and got away scot-free, which I know is a very connected theme throughout a lot of people's school experiences during COVID. There's just a lot of not 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 really doing shit, um, and then still making it, because if their school failed literally everyone, because literally nobody passed, that would be a huge problem. Um, and I'm thankful for that. That's something that definitely I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in if it wasn't for that. And I think it also helped that I was never really like a problem. A lot of people were just like sleeping through classes and whatnot, and I never did that. I just went on YouTube or played Minecraft or watched Twitch or recorded YouTube videos. Played on my friend's SMP. I remember that. I had that was a close call. Anyway, I had SMP with some people that I met on Discord like a while ago. And I remember that got me through the first, like, I'd say the first few months of like the summer of that year. Also, I apologize. There's a motorcycle outside. I don't know if that picks it up, but I I definitely used that as like a cope, and a lot of other things, a lot of online stuff, and I would say that's affected me pretty greatly. Nowadays I live online a lot. It's something I'm trying to change, but you know, it's definitely one of those things I used as a coping mechanism, which also is a similar experience for a lot of other people. Anyways, I had all this like online stuff, so then the moment it like shifted like the entirety of my actual developing life, you know what I mean? Like things that like alter how my life works immediately switched. Immediately I was like thrown in to this big social environment, and what is known throughout at least like America as the worst social environment it's not great. It's not an easy switch. It's not something that just came super simple and was like, oh yeah, I got this, bro. Like it wasn't like that. And so freshman year I just kind of zoned out. I didn't understand anything that was going on. I had seen my friends that I hadn't seen since like middle school, but I didn't really know them anymore. You know, they became different people, and they started hating the type of person that I was during quarantine, which didn't help, but it did help me in the long run, because I would say that those people are not good people. Surprise. But I stopped talking to them. I stopped associating with them. I over the course of quarantine became more of an understanding human being, as a lot of people did, and you know, I just didn't mess with being an evil little jerk anymore. But what was I saying? Oh, sorry, I'm a little bit off track. But you know, I got back into high school, freshman year, first semester. I you know, nothing notable. But I'd say right before the start of the second semester, right before Christmas break, I think Halloween-ish, I started becoming friends with some people that I met in the Gay Street Alliance Club, because over over quarantine, I had realized some things about myself, and I'm glad that those were things that weren't fueled by like people online being like, it's cool to do this, because I know there's a lot of people that seem to think that, which I think is really dumb. If you decided to change the entirety of your like actual self just because of like people online, I'm gonna be real, man, being not like that, not like other people, is not like a plus. I don't know why that was a thing. There's like this trend on TikTok I've seen where it's like the devil fought hard but the Lord has won, or whatever, and it's like them in 2020 expressing themselves, and then like them now just being like a clean white straight person. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that per se, but it's just, I don't know, it feels like they're kind of shitting on people who still explore with themselves and whatever. And you know, I just feel like you were the weird one in that situation, not the other people who expressed themselves. You were the weird one for pretending you were someone that you weren't, you know. But you know, that's a totally different topic for another day. Anyways, October, I started talking to people through my Gay Street Alliance class, and I had become friends with a few people, like in my physics class and whatnot, and they were fairly popular. But I think they only talked to me because I was kind of weird. Obviously, you know, the immediate switch was not something that was like easy, and so I coped with it by being weird, which it wasn't the greatest idea. But you know, anyways, I after that, I had made a couple friends. We mainly talked through like Instagram, stuff like that. But then there was this one person that I had met that I had like feelings for really kind of stupid reasons. And eventually, to shave down like a long story short, through the entirety of like break and then the rest of the second half of freshman year, I had been around this person and their friend group, and they just weren't for me. Those are people that also just weren't for me, and I had to come to this conclusion retrospectively, mainly because I think they realized that I'm not for them either, which is okay. That's not a problem. But you know, that wasn't exactly the easiest thing for me to take, which also in hindsight is kind of not necessarily stupid, but it's a little bit hypocritical because I had just done basically the same thing to my friends from middle school. You know, they just weren't the right person to be around, and I definitely took it pretty hard. It sent me it sent me kind of into like a big poop hole for like a little bit, quite a while. I'd say almost 2 years. I'd say almost 2 years, and it really shouldn't have affected me like that. But what I did next definitely helped with that. Over the course of the summer after freshman year, you know, hung out with friends, you know, whatever. But it was kind of boring because I didn't really have a lot of friends, aside from like, you know, my friends I've had from a long time ago. But you know, like new friends I can hang out with that, you know, still really know me post quarantine, and I didn't really have a lot of them. So the hanging out with people was kind of inconsistent. But I remember distinctly around July-ish, I basically came crying to my mom, begging her to let me do online school because of how bad the social pressure of being in the same place as the people who just didn't mess with me were, because I was very fragile. And you know, that's just how it is. I don't, there's nothing, I'm not gonna sit here and like shit on my past self and be like, man, that was some pussy ass shit. Blah, 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 blah. But you know, I definitely would have a couple months ago. But you know, I don't think that's a good or like reliable way to think about it. But anyways, my mom was like, "Are you sure?" Yeah, whatever. So sophomore year, I did online school, and then it was something. It was definitely something that I was like, this can't be real, right? Like I can't just like not get up at like 8 a.m. and have to like be in an institution. I can just like do this from my bed. Like that's crazy. And it definitely helped me cruise through school more, but it also made me become like a cheater because every single thing for my online schooling, you can just look it up. It's just that simple. All their programs and stuff they do over and over again a million times. People have learned to just like upload the answers online. Like that's it, straight up. And that helped me, but I definitely did fall short because now I'm like my own boss, right? Now I'm in like a situation where nobody really dictates when I do schoolwork or how I do schoolwork or anything like that. It's just free range living. I am my own boss, which in some senses was really good for me, I think, and it helped me regain control of like the person that I was. But then it also kind of all like taking into account the mental instability I'm coming from for arguably not very serious reasons, and kind of turn them into serious reasons because now I'm doing online schooling and I'm isolated from everybody. At least at school, even if I felt anxious every day and like cried every day I got like back from home, like at least I was talking to people, you know what I mean? Now it's just nothing. I'm sitting here over at my house, staring in front of a computer for a couple hours a day, looking up answers, shutting my computer down, and then it's like new and I don't have to do anything. And I woke up at like 11 Like there's no there's no enforcement to even do anything. And so because of that, sometimes I just didn't do anything. Sometimes I wouldn't do work. And so this all led up into the end of the year where there was an entire class that I'd like was like months behind it. And so I had to spend 2 days straight fully just up 24 hours to complete all of the work before the end of the school year. And I did, and I passed. But this very specific behavioral trait carried over because it's not, you know, it's not easy. And obviously I already knew that when I was going into the thing, you know, I already knew what it would be like, but I didn't know distinctly what it would be like because I'd never been in a situation like that before, you know. All my life it's always been, okay, get up at like early in the morning, go to school, learn things, and just like try, you know. And that's kind of just the basis of school. That's all you really need to do, in theory, as long as you in this hypothetical universe where you like understand everything immediately, which obviously is not going to happen. But you know, it's the basis of it. If you don't do that, if you don't go in there and try, you're fucked from like day one, you know. So realizing this was like hard, and realizing that it was kind of scary that I had, you know, taken super duper long. Last year, junior year of high school, I decided to go back into public school immediately without any sort of detox. I just said, fuck it, I'm going back. But I made a deal with my mom. I said that I would go back because of obviously the issues that had just happened. I would go back, but I didn't want to like stay, you know. If it was bad, if it was as bad as I remember it being, I didn't want to stay. I made a clause with my mom that if it was too bad, second semester, my mom would get with me and I would tell her whether or not I'd want to re-enroll in online school. But the catch was that if I said I wanted to re-enroll in online school, I cannot go back to public school. That's it. I'm doing that until senior year. And so I went back. I went back to school. Crazy, I know. But I went back and I did a semester, and it was interesting. It didn't really feel like freshman year all over again. A lot of people had changed. Like a lot of people had changed in ways that I didn't even think was possible, considering it had only been a year. But apparently a year changes people enough. And I think one of the main reasons it was kind of stinky was obviously the fact that I just like jumped immediately back into it, but also it was more that like the people around me were more developed than I was. Not necessarily mentally. I think honestly, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think socially conscious wise, I think I'm a little bit more up to the standard, but everything else, just, you know, academics, obviously because I had spent the last year cheating on everything, didn't go great. And then, you know, just people being like, I just got my driver's license, or I just started working a job. It felt bad. I felt like I was losing, you know. I felt like I was it was like I had spent a majority of that year learning how to become a better person mentally, and I mean like in like a social way, you know, like understanding social cues. I like literally studied social cues, because I didn't understand them at all. And I sat there and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be like a person, you know. And it felt like as if all that was for nothing, because in every other sphere, every single other person was more developed than I was. They were more of a human being than I was, and they were more adult than I was, and that kind of sucked. And I think a way to cope was trying to remember that, hey, you're 15, like, there's no reason you're supposed to feel like an adult. But also, the more and more I inch closer to being an adult, it kind of seems like I have to be an adult before I'm 18. Like, that's kind of just the consensus of the way that the institution or whatever just kind of pushes you, which stinks. That really stinks. And I like another cope was that, you know, I'm technically almost a year younger than everyone else in my grade. I think I'm like 9 months younger, because I started kindergarten when I was 2, or not 2, 3, 4, 4 instead of 5. Jesus, 2, 3. Anyways, when I was 4, and I had, it didn't help. It didn't help that I was like the age of a freshman in sophomore year, and then starting, starting every school year, I was always an age below. I was, the line, and that definitely didn't help with not feeling like I was adult enough, or feeling like I was on the same level as people, and to an extent, this like feeling still exists. I will admit that. There's definitely, I don't know if it's something that I can just get rid of. There's just the feeling that people are more developed as a person than me, and that I have to put in a lot of effort to become that kind of person. And I'm a very anxious person, and it's kind of hard. But even just seeing some of the people that I thought, not necessarily that were lesser than me, but just weren't, I don't know, they just weren't as socially ready, or didn't have the same social skills that I did, and I had very little social skills, surpassed me in another front. It felt really bad. And I guess it was just because, I'm comparing myself to others, which is not a good idea. Obviously I know that now. I knew that then, but I wasn't applying it to the situation. I've since come to the consensus that everyone sucks, and everyone is winging it. As far as I've heard from accounts of other people, and just knowing other people, I promise you, working a 9 to 5, or even like a few hour day, you can be like 30. You can be like 30. You work an office job, you're still winging it. There's nobody who's like was professionally viable and was like, yes, 100. I mean, I'm sure there's someone. I'm sure there's someone out there who spent the entirety of like 16, 17, and 18 preparing to become a worker at like Domino's Pizza. But, a majority of people that I know are just winging it. They're put through situations that they cannot deal with, and it's hard. It's hard for them. And I don't know. It's something that I have to remember a lot more. But anyways, it's sophomore year, or junior year, sorry, not sophomore year. It's junior year, and everyone's different, and everyone would not want to be friends with me again, understandably, that were friends with me in freshman year. And for some reason, instantly, I kind of took offense to that, for the stupidest reason. Just because I was like, oh, did they not recognize that I've like grown as a human being? That's not how growth works. That's not how growing as a person works. And the only reason I wanted their validation is because I didn't have it before, even though I already recognized that those people are not my people, which is, it's stupid. It's definitely not one of my proudest moments. And I don't even know why. I have no idea why I was like so keen on this, seeming like I was like cooler, and like way more not anxious, because obviously freshman year I was just like constantly anxious, and you could like tell. But I tried so hard not to be an outcast, and it kind of worked. I wasn't necessarily an outcast, but I was friends with weirder people, and not necessarily weird people. I wouldn't call the people I was friends with at that time weird people, because they're some of the nicest people I've met. But it was definitely less of like, ew, look at that weird kid in the corner, and more like, I guess you're okay, So I went from being weird to kind of just being there. And so while I was there with the people I was surrounded with, I just tried to make the best of it. I tried to just be friendly with people, make them have good conversations, try to make them have a good day, which I think was a good idea. Sometimes it came at the cost of understanding things academically, though, and I'll just skip you to the chase. This exact reason is the reason that I decided that I would just go back to online, for the remainder of junior year and for the entirety of my senior year. because I had spent too much time worrying about my social viability coming back into high school, which sounds like the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard. Um, just I just cared about it too much, and I didn't understand any of the things that were being taught because the stuff that it's building upon, which would have been sophomore year, or even freshman year, I didn't remember. I didn't remember any of it because obviously there was a gap year in which I didn't really learn anything. I just looked things up and gave answers and got good grades by not learning anything. Um, and you know, that wasn't that wasn't so good. That didn't set me up for success. But you know, I was too far down the pipeline, and if I told anyone that, I probably would have gotten held back. They'd probably been like, "Oh, you didn't understand anything from like freshman year? Okay, well, sorry, man, super senior." Like, or at least they would have put me in some sort of special ed class. And you know, I didn't want to be a social outcast again. That was like the worst thing on my mind. So I was like, okay, well, the plan is make friends and then leave, you know, get out of that situation, get out of the environment with the people that I don't like being there. Not necessarily hate, just people that don't mess with me, and so I don't mess with them. But just get out of that environment. They can they can have their high school, make friends, and then hopefully still talk to them while I'm in isolation again. And that was kind of the way the plan was going, but I didn't really make too many friends. I think I made one. I think I literally made one over that amount of time, and we don't talk that much. Which, you know, I'm sorry, Caleb, if you're seeing that. You're awesome to talk to. We should play Fortnite sometime. But um, you know, and it wasn't necessarily the most successful thing in the world. So come December, I've decided that, you know, all right, sign me up for online school, you know. So I get back into online school, and it wasn't great. I was suddenly aware of the isolation. Before, I wasn't necessarily aware that I was just isolated. I thought that my situation was so cool because I could just stay up every night and like be chronically online, like it was quarantine all over again, like I was in my safe place. But then obviously now I had developed more social skills and more of a dependency on the socialness of school, like way too much, like overly dependent on it. Not to the point that I was like in drama or anything like that. I didn't care about that because I already knew that that wasn't helpful. Which I guess that's a W I can take. That's a like, yep, that's good. But there's definitely a dependency that I had on like talking to people every day, and whatnot. So, you know, immediately going back into it again, another situation where I'm immediately throwing myself into things. It didn't work out too well. I got through the year, the majority of it, but I slacked off a lot again. I couldn't deal with being my own boss. I couldn't deal with having my own schedule. But the idea of, you know, someone coming in there and being like, you have to wake up at this early time and do this and this, that wasn't going to be helpful. That was just going to make me resent it more and, you know, lash back. So my decision is do nothing and just kind of get over it eventually, or, you know, just live this way until senior year, just kind of wing it and hopefully get by, or institute a schedule, which I'm gonna hate. And it was definitely a reason that I left public high school, and, you know, just kind of deal with it. And right now I'm just kind of sitting on that. We're back to we're back to right now. It's summer. In about a week from today, I'm gonna start my senior year, and I don't even know. I don't know. I did summer school, so I got caught up on a few credits. I still have 2 more credits that I have to get caught up on, but you know, it's all planned out. As long as I do everything, I'll be on track to graduate. But you know, it's something that's kind of hard, and also something that I just kind of want to talk about because I don't know if there's anyone else who's in this situation at all. It's not one of those things that's like super common, you know what I mean? It's not one of those things that's like easy easy to be like, yeah, there's been an example of this guy in history. Like, I don't know. This is like a fairly new concept. Um, the idea of just screwing off and going to online school is not, it's not something that has really been very prominent before quarantine, you know? It definitely was a thing. I used to see K through 12 advertisements on TV that were like, come take your kid to this K through 12 online. It's like so much easier and bullying doesn't happen. Because I remember that for a long time there was like a war on bullying or whatever, which is a good thing. But they've kind of fallen off that now. But there was a very serious like bullying, anti-bullying campaign that was going on in the U.S. And one of the draws was that, you know, no bullying. And something that my mom used to say was she used to like the idea of online school post Sandy Hook, because it was, you know, there's no chance of someone there's an even lesser chance of someone showing up to your home with a gun and trying to kill everyone inside, than it is being at a school. And I get that. We had a couple threats, I think, at high school. I think every high school does. There's always some edgy kid that says something messed up, and then someone goes and reports it, and they're like, hey, man, I didn't mean that. And then either they get expelled or suspended, or nothing happens, and they're just kind of not talked to. You know, it just kind of happens. Or something genuinely happens, and then it's, like, very tragic and, you know, whatever. But I would say that probably happens less, just because of the fear. But it definitely does happen a lot. I know I think if it was last year or the year before, there was like more school shootings in America than there were days in the year, which is crazy, by the way. It's absolutely insane and a horrifying statistic. But it's just kind of something that happens. And so I understood where my mom was coming from, but I also thought that was kind of a little bit more of a menial thing, because obviously my whole perspective on it was just based on the socialness or the academic side. Those two were definitely the only things that were really on my mind, because dying was not something that I was like, oh yeah, every day I would wake up and go to school and be like, oh, I might die in a school shooting today. That's not what I was thinking of. I was waking up every day and being like, oh, I guess I gotta go to school. I hope I don't kill myself. Like that was the line of thought. And you know, it wasn't necessarily there, but I do understand where she was coming from. But yeah, I just wanted to have the first episode of this series talk about this. Just because I think this is a very basic American experience. I think this is one of those things that like a majority of more mature people can talk about. You know, it's one of those things. It's a very weird environment. There's nowhere else in life that is exactly like high school. Nowhere. Every other situation is so much either more lax or more serious in like a specific way. And social interactions don't happen the same way, because eventually your like brain develops, you know. You're not just like a stupid kid who's like, oh, it's school again, you know. There's definitely a difference. It's the same difference that exists with like middle school to high school or elementary school to middle school. It's the same difference. It's just more extreme, because the entirety of the prospects of school, which you've already learned, they aren't there. It's a whole new set of rules. Anywhere, literally anywhere, any social area ever, even if you've already experienced it, like the library, like that's definitely different than school. Any like social gathering place whatsoever is completely different from school. And so once, you know, you used to see those things as like a side to school, but now that there's no school, it's not a side to school. It's like, it's the thing, you know, it is the thing. So yeah, that's the main reason I wanted this first episode to be like this. I have a few more talking points and whatever, but this was just one that I thought easily would be one of those things that's like easier to digest for this series. It's definitely something I want to do more. I had this concept come to me because one day there was a power outage here, and it lasted for like a long time. Or not a power outage, an internet outage. Sorry. because there's a big storm. And so I recorded myself playing Minecraft in offline mode. Um, and it was one of the most like relaxing experiences ever. And I was like, I'm sure I can do something with this. Like maybe it could be background, it could be background footage in like a YouTube video I'm doing or whatever, you know, just like B footage, whatever. But I eventually had this idea to just kind of talk. And it's mainly about like, I know I hate viewing YouTube in this lens of like growing an audience, but you know, it's definitely to try to reach like a more mature side. Oh, thank you. Thank you. My friend just started playing Foxhole and DM me. Okay, awesome. Anyways, sorry about that. You know, I wanna reach a more, I don't know, just a more understanding audience. I don't want my overlap to be with like the Mr. Beast and like Kai Cenat viewers that are just like consuming gaming content all the time, or anything like that. I mean, you're welcome. You're welcome to be here. I'm not gonna discriminate, but it's just not, I don't know, it's just not a sphere that I take too kindly to 100%. It's definitely one that I admire somewhat because of just like its past on YouTube and whatever. But oh yeah, I will mention diamonds, by the way. Awesome. But anyway, sorry. It's just not a demographic that I want to relate with this series. I just wanna have people to talk to on the internet. Not necessarily to like develop relationships with, but just about menial issues to make me feel like I'm not crazy. And you know, I feel like I'm probably not crazy. I feel like some of these situations have definitely happened to other people. It's just, it's harder to not just like cast a giant net and like try to find people. It's harder to like go into your niche and be like, hey, has anyone else experienced depression from being isolated from doing online school? It's like nobody's gonna start a conversation like that, and if they do, I don't know, I don't want to be around them, you know. So this is definitely more of a way to like, I don't know, just like connect in a way that I didn't before. Obviously, I'm not going to stop any of my other series. I don't even know if this is going to go up on my main channel. I was thinking about maybe putting this on a second channel, but then I realized that I would have to verify my phone number, and I can't to like, you know, like upload thumbnails, and I can't do that a second time. So either I just have to find a burner number to put on there, or something, because honestly, I don't know. But you'll know if you're viewing this from the Volcanic Ash channel, or if the name is different. Who knows? Who knows? But I plan on doing this a lot more. One more story I'd like to share is during this like past like summer school experience. It's my first time ever doing summer school, and it was definitely way different. But one thing I'd like to share is that for some reason, my online school only lets you do 2 classes over the summer, and I had 4 credits that I had to make up. And so I don't understand that. That was kind of really stupid to me personally. So I spent the entirety of my summer school, you know, just kind of rushing through my 2 classes, so it wasn't that deep. But you know, okay. Anyways, I'll let the video end. I'll let the video end here. Let me just craft this diamond set here. I know. I'm real lucky and gifted to get diamonds on the first episode, but whatever. Anyways, hopefully next episode I'll be able to enchant that. What am I? Hold on. All right. Yeah, I'll smelt this and then we can wrap it up here. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time to talk. Hopefully I'll have something more interesting to talk about. Talk to me in the comments, you know, let me know what you guys want to see next. I'll be there. I'll be there to have discussions with you about whatever you want, relating to my experience, any stories you have. I'll be willing to listen and engage. Don't know when the next episode will come out, but you know, you just have to find out. All right, Thank you for watching.